What's up, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for daily extra news, where we're gonna go over the latest updates, and there are a few updates. Some I won't say some positive. There's no positive. I wanted to be positive, and I got lost a little bit. Excuse me. Uh, there is nothing positive. Maybe one thing I will mention in the end, but it's it's looking worse with every single day passing. If we're being completely honest, with the latest reports, the latest news, it's looking it's looking very very ugly. But that's what we do. We're gonna discuss that. But before I do that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification if you're new, but especially like, and let's get into it. Okay, so the the first point I want to make, or like not the first point, the first news I'm gonna discuss is the guy on the thumbnail and the title of the show, which I, we have a list for the right side of the pitch, and it's the worst list you will ever see. Like it cannot get any worse than the players on that list. But according to Di Marzio, we have a new name on the list to add to Lucas Vasquez and Holm from Spezia, and it's Odriozola from Real Madrid, I think. Played for Fiorentina, terrible, absolutely terrible. I think he has one assist in like 3 years or something ridiculous like that. Forget about the stats, like the eye test, terrible, like absolutely terrible player. Apparently, he will cost, or like he could cost, um, 5 million euros, or Real Madrid can just release him because why would they bother with a player who's really poor? He's 27, I think, which is crazy. That he's already 27 because it feels like he's young, like his name when he burst onto the scene or burst onto the scene. But he's just a terrible player. It's as simple as that. The fact that he's making up the list, those are the names on that list, actually makes you want to cry and actually makes you want to keep Cuadrado. And I'm being that serious at this point, because I'd rather keep Cuadrado on a 1 year deal than hand out contracts to these players on a 2 to 3 year deal. It's as like I'm being that serious now. If you're gonna waste money for multiple years, just waste money for 1 more year. Then, if you don't have other options, if you don't have any better idea than this, then just keep Cuadrado. And I'm being absolutely serious now, because the names on these lists are terrible. And you might say Vasquez is not a bad player in terms of he played at a high level, he can do a job. I get it, but just the idea of player, age, wage, all those things, and the fee, it makes absolutely no sense. The other two's cheap, but crap. Like, we need to be honest, like crap. You know, will Vasquez do a better job than Cuadrado? Maybe, probably, because I think he still have more to offer. But it's not an upgrade. It's not something to look forward to. It's not something to build on, and that's the biggest issue. And I hope this is early stages and other players will pop up on that list, because this is sickening. I'm being honest here. I don't like any of these players, and I will never like them. Even if they play for us, I will not like them because they're just not good. They're not good, and I cannot believe these are the players that are on our list. Now, you can say, oh, it's Di Marzio and you don't rate him. I get it, but the journalists I do rate at this moment in time are messing up as well. Completely misinformation, or they have nothing, and like one of the two. And even the journalists, the good ones, confirmed this. They just are not outspoken about it at this moment in time. So that's terrible, and that should never happen, if you're being completely honest, because those are absolutely terrible options. So it's an absolutely no for me, and I hope this banter thing stops with this list, because that's a terrible list. Like, that's like top 50 on the right, or like whatever possible players we can get, and you start from the bottom. That's what it is. So no for me, as are the other two names on that list. Let's move on to Milik. Now, I put Romeo's news on Milik in this news frame, but actually, while I'm recording this, Di Marzio came out and he said the complete opposite. So according to Romeo Greci, there are new contracts between Marseille for a loan with a 1 million euro loan and an obligation to buy at 5.5 million. But Marseille are not really happy with the obligation. I don't know, with the fee. I don't get it. Di Marzio came out and said it's a done deal. No loan, nothing. The club will pay Marseille 7 million euros as was agreed last year, and we should have done that in April. Like, we wasted time. The club wasted time to do the deal they could have done a month ago. Basically, they wasted time. I have no idea. The only reason I have is that they were not sure about Allegri and were really considering letting him go, and that's why they didn't do the Milik deal. And now Allegri is staying, and they said, "Yeah, we need to do the Milik deal." Then, that's the only two things I have in mind right now. That's the only thing that makes sense why you would have wasted a couple of weeks to just pay the same the same amount of money. It's crazy, but it could be that, maybe they were not sure about keeping Allegri, and the plan was to sack him, and then they didn't. Which is worse because you're telling me that you're not feeling good about keeping Allegri in the saddle, and you're just moving on. And that's a feeling I have all along, basically, and that's a feeling that has been reported as well. But that's what's happening now, basically. So Milik is saying we're paying 7 million euros, wasted a couple of weeks, but Milik is saying, let me know in the comments what you think about that. Like, I'm fine with Milik, but he cannot be one of the main guys, and he's probably gonna be one of the main guys, and that's where I'm not fine with the situation. He's kind of injury prone. He picks up the injuries, and he's not a real out and out goal scorer. He's not, and he will never be, or he will never be what he was years back. When he was on that trajectory, but never made it. So if he's one of the main guys with Keane, awful, bad, really bad. But if Vlahovic stays, maybe, but still, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at this moment in time. But let's move on to Kulusevski again. Romano news. While I'm recording, old news. I'll give you the new news. The new news just breaking is that Juve and Tottenham talked about Kulusevski, and they're very, very close to finding an agreement. You might say they had an agreement. We did. 35 million. Tottenham wanted a discount, and guess what? We are giving them a discount. Apparently, it will be in and around 30 million instead of 25. So it could be 28. Let's say it's 28. Worst case scenario. You took a 7 million L because we can't sell. We're terrible. We are weak. Like, I'll keep saying it. And this, it's not about, you don't respect the club. I actually respect it more highly than they do, I think, at times. You agree the fee. You agree the fee with Marseille. In the end, you're paying what Marseille wanted to do. We agree the fee with Milik, with Tottenham for Milik, and in the end, for Kulusevski, in the end, we are not getting what we agreed on. It doesn't work both ways for us, for this club. They give, but they never take. That's my biggest issue. Tottenham have money. They can be cheap as they want. They want Kulusevski, and Kulusevski want them. There's only one way out of this. They were gonna pay the 35 million. They were never gonna let it slide. But here we are reducing the asking fee because we're a terrible run club. It's as simple as that. Like, I don't know how else to put it. And don't bring me the excuses of, oh yes, 1 year left on this deal. They knew that when they signed that agreement. Like, it's not they discovered it now. It's not like they found out about it now. So that's a bad excuse. The excuse is they're taking advantage of a club in a weak position, and you might say you would do the same, but whatever. So Kulusevski is gone. Could be between 27, 28, 30 million euros. So we gave them a discount because that's what we do. Other news is that no, that wasn't. Oh, Genoa asked for Miretti on loan, which is a weird one because according to Di Marzio, Juve said no based on those conditions, but he didn't mention the conditions. Is it a dry loan? Is it a 2-year loan? Whatever. It could be a 10-year loan. Don't loan the kid to Genoa. Genoa are a relegation side, and they will always be a relegation side unless they have some weird peak like they had a couple of years back. But they're a relegation side. Don't send a promising player to those teams. Send them to a stable quote unquote team that play a certain type of way, that have a good setup and a good board, whatever. That's not Genoa. Don't send that kid to Genoa. So I don't know what the conditions are that which Di Marzio was referring to, saying the club is not agreeing to those conditions. Whatever they are, I don't care. Do not loan him out to Genoa. Do not do that. Um, that's kind of all the news that is out there. Unless, let me check. Um, let me see. No new updates. So that's it. That's basically it. Um, but things are needing to move a bit faster, especially on the outgoings. And you might say, which is a fact, that's why they maybe are lowering the Kulusevski fee just to get him out. Don't waste all summer. I get that, but there is an agreement, and they want he wants to stay at Tottenham, and Tottenham want him to stay. So I don't know. If it just feels weird, but let's see, man. Let's see. It should be picking up now. Quick, more, you know, determined. Whatever. Like deals need to happen more faster now, I believe. But let's see. At this moment in time, it's not very good news. And were expecting this, and I was expecting this, but it's even worse than I was imagining. It's worse at this moment in time. But let's see. Thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe. Also, I will be live today, so check that out. There will be another daily probably. Check that out. On Saturday, Julian will probably be live, and on Sunday I have a new show based on the players we get linked. So stay tuned for that as well, because that will be different. We will look a bit more into stats, numbers, all those things. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, see ya.